Okay, now joining us to discuss the future role of women in the ever-evolving economy is Fiona Ma, the California State Treasurer. Ms. Ma, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly welcome you on our program.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
If I can begin, you've led a lot of delegations from California to visit China and promoting ties between your home state and several Chinese cities. What's that been like personally, and can you give me an example of how you believe it has helped strengthen ties between China and the United States as your role as the treasurer of California?
Yes. So before being treasurer, back in 1999, Jeffrey Chang and I, an attorney, would take delegations of elected state leaders back to China. And so all of these years of doing these cultural bilateral exchanges, I think has really helped in strengthening our relationships between California and China. So I do think these type of trips to see and to meet and to hear directly from leaders and other counterparts in other countries, I think is extremely important, and it does lead to mutual cooperation going forward.
Hey, do you find that the concerns and what you're hearing are really universal? Perhaps the same struggles that people in California have are also found in the Chinese cities that you visited?
Are you talking about specifically for women?
For women, for business?
I definitely think, oops, sorry, excuse.
Okay, I think, there you go. I think you're back now, Ms.
I
Ma.
apologize.
That's all,
Am
that's
I
all
back?
right.
I am back. Yeah, no one really calls me. I should have put it on the drive mode. I do think for women, since you were talking about the women's report, I do think it is difficult for women. I think there is a double standard around the globe. We talk about capital, access to capital, and financial assets, and the women don't typically have it, or they are not in control of it. And so that really hampers women's ability to invest or to donate or to actually, contribute a lot more because normally we have to ask our spouses or someone else who's in charge of the money.
Well, and of course, China is going to have a big presence at this year's APEC meeting going on in San Francisco. Several high-level meetings are going to take place between the United States and China, including that all-important meeting between President Xi and U.S. President Joe Biden. What do you expect to come out of this, and what does it mean to shine this bright light on California right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important. Our governor, Gavin Newsom, went back to China a couple of weeks ago. China just builds those bridges and, welcome President Xi here. The fact that our President Biden and President Xi will be here in San Francisco for such an important meeting, I think is very, very significant to our two countries. The fact that the leaders are willing to meet, because we really should be more integrated, right? The number one importer, GDP,
Sure.
exporter, like we're all integrated. And so the more that we can get along and work together, I think would create more peace in the world, as well as, better economic opportunities for both countries.
Indeed, and 40% of the goods and services come from these two largest economies in the world. And focusing again on the role of women in the global economy, there is this gender gap in terms of women in leadership roles, government pay, CEO positions across the world. What do you think the key challenges are to women attaining and maintaining these leadership positions?
Well, here in California, we have 8 statewide elected officials, and 4 of us are women. We got elected in our own right in a state with 40 million people. So it can happen, but it really depends on, the leadership, the government apparatus, whether we have mentors who are willing to pull us up and make sure that we're in the right room with the right people. And that's across the board, right? I am the banker of the 4th largest economy. And I'm telling you, like, the banking world doesn't look like me. And so those opportunities are far and few in between. However, the fact that I am the banker, I am Chinese American, I am an Asian. Now all the banks, when they meet with me, they bring women. They bring Asians to the table. So I think it just depends on who is leading and who is sitting at the table. will give those opportunities to others.
Let's pick up on that because, that now that these bankers have learned, rightfully, to bring people who, women, people of color to these meetings. How can organizations promote a culture of inclusivity and equal opportunity in an effort to encourage more women to pursue leadership roles?
Right. So, number one, you have to see people in a role, right? I saw one of my mentors as a lieutenant governor. She was an acting lieutenant governor, Mona Pascal. But the fact that she was there in that office gave me the confidence to run for lieutenant governor in 2026. Kamala Harris,
Mm,
being in the White House, is now giving women that opportunity or that thought or that hope that maybe
sure.
one day they can be vice president or president. So we need to see people in those positions, number one. And then once we're in those positions, we need to do a lot of outreach and education and, show up and say, hey, if I can do it, so can you, right? And this is the path on how you get there.
Well, Ms. Ma, we can't thank you enough, and keep taking those trips, promoting people-to-people ties. Always a good thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.